Welcome, everyone, to Tech Tuesday here on Northwest Digital News. I'm Kevin Hunter with Kyle Torgeson. I almost said Bornstedt. We have Bornstedt around so often here during the week. And then, of course, Harry Brelsford, our tech guy extraordinaire. You know, you guys, if you saw on the opening video clip here before the show came on live here, all these books. Harry is the author of 20 books in the tech space, has written over 400 plus articles, and speaker extraordinaire at tech conferences all over the United States. So we're going to have a conversation about 5 of them. Let's start, Harry, with the one on top, IT Expo East. You're actually going to be speaking here at this event and moderating one of the deals down there. Locking up your data, not your access, is your key to customer success. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So IT Expo. So first of all, for those that don't know, but Florida is very, very pleasant this time of year. So it's an honor and a privilege to have what I would almost call a working vacation. And I'm going to actually take a couple of days and catch the Super Bowl with some friends down there and then fly home afterwards. So pretty excited about that trip. So IT Expo is a very interesting conference that it has its roots and is still dominated by the telecom sector, so voice over IP, unified communications. And the publisher, TMC, not to be confused with TMZ, but TMC out of the East Coast, is they worked really hard to expand beyond telecom. So, for example, yes, I'm leading a panel on data protection, and I'm also leading one that isn't listed on blockchain. So we're going to talk about blockchain and its applicability beyond the financial services industry and so on. But here's the deal on IT Expo is that it's an industry show. So most of the speakers are from sponsors and vendors, and you just need to know that going in. The show is relatively cheap. I don't have the ticket price in front of me, but because it's, vendor driven, that means it's not $2,500. It's not $1,000 to attend. It's a relatively cheap show. And Kevin, one of the ways they do that is, for example, you have to buy your own breakfast. You have to buy your own lunch. So there's a couple tricks to keep the price down. But I'll tell you, it's a good show because they're always trying. They're trying to expand beyond telecom. Telecom may not wake you up in the morning and get you excited, but this show always has little pavilions like the blockchain pavilion, the data pavilion, and so on. So tip of the hat, and I give it a 1.5 thumbs up. Not sure if it's the best show I go to every year, but it's if you're in the Florida region, or your listeners in the Northwest may be going down on winter break, and it'd be a good show to just stop by.
Well, as you mentioned, you're headed to the Super Bowl afterwards. If somebody's going to the Super Bowl, go down a couple days early and catch some of the tech stuff that's going on at
now I cannot lie. I'm going to watch the Super Bowl on TV with friends in Fort Lauderdale, so I'm not attending the Super Bowl, but heck, you're invited to my Super Bowl party. I'll put it that way.
There you go. There you go. All right. Well, you mentioned you were talking about this isn't the $2,500 event. Well, there's an event coming up mid-February in San Francisco. This is the IBM Think. Well, this event is $2,295 to attend. What's going on at IBM Think?
Well, that's the big boys. Is he big blue, big boys, right? As you might imagine, that's an expensive conference. And a couple of things I've done. I think this will be my 6th year in a row. I'm attending as an analyst, and often find myself in the analyst meetings and so on. But here's the reason I go is God bless IBM that they are really trying to reinvent themselves, right? They're an easy target to make fun of and knock, mainframes and PCs in the old days, but they have really done some amazing work with machine learning with Watson. Most people would have heard of Watson, and Watson is in excess of 10 years old, so they got in early Kevin, don't know if I ever mentioned on this channel, but they bought the Weather Channel to get training data. So a lot of people don't know that Watson powers the Weather Channel, and that was to train Watson in terms of, neural patterns and machine learning and so on. But the reason I go to the show is it's my annual big data show. It's analytics and machine learning, and then now the buzzword is, of course, artificial intelligence, which I'm still not completely comfortable with that word, but for that term. But it's the big boys, and it's the people wear jackets. To give an example, it's not the black T-shirts and the geeks. It's definitely the managers, and I would say it's over 50% from overseas, so Latin America, Europe, Africa. It is truly a global conference, and if the shoe fits, you should go. And I always like to end discussing both IBM and this show that, guys, give them a fair shake. People change, and we're not the same people we were in high school. So give IBM a fair shake, and if the shoe fits, I'll see you there.
To that point, IBM, obviously is a longtime organization, one of the really huge companies from the past. And I say that a little tongue-in-cheek because there's a lot of organizations who, might have been at the leading part of innovating in their industry at a given time period and then fell off. Well, a lot of them never ever recovered, and you have to give a lot of credit to IBM for figuring out how to reinvent itself. So.
Yeah, exactly. And we're dealing with people. I mean, the bottom line is, Kevin, you see this in all walks of life, maybe in a political realm, right? All government bureaucrats and all that, but that's not fair. The people that work for IBM, there's some smart son of a guns over there. They're doing a lot of primary research, and individually, they're fine people. And I don't think that story gets told about large enterprises and governments, and it's just too easy to fire an arrow at them, and that's not cool, man.
Well, let's move from San Francisco over to Atlanta. The Channel Pro SMB Forum Conference kicks off there.
Yeah. And so we have talked about Channel Pro on this show before. When it seems like quarterly we kind of line up the conferences that are coming up. And so this is a reseller conference. So those of you that have a retail background, a storefront background, heck, even online e-commerce background in the tech field would want to attend this show and learn the latest trends in terms of markups and pricing and spiffs and incentives and offers and, where to get those offers from distributors. It is not a technical show, as Kevin, I've shared in the past. So, that's IBM is a technical show, for example, and this is not a technical show, but it's, you know what you're getting. It's not going to be confused for a deep academic conference. On the schedule, you'll see a lot of the speeches are under 30 minutes. And so they're pitches. They're sales pitches.
Right.
And that's okay. So yes, I'll be there. And then if anyone's interested and wants to, put up a comment, there is a pre-day show that I'll be participating in where I'm going to give my famous, 5 tips for analytics. Carl Palachuk, who's been on the show a couple of times, is leading a one-day pre-day, and that is academic. So the meat on the bones is the day before, and then the sales conference is the following day in March in Atlanta. Like I say, you know what I know, but I hope a listener somehow, some way finds some stuff there, and I'll get you.
Very good. All right, we have also ASCII on the agenda here today. ASCII Group SoCal. There's actually 9 cities that this event is opening up in.
Yeah. So what the way to describe ASCII Group, and again, this would definitely be at the subset of the audience listening today, is Um, let's talk about REI, the co-op, right? Well-known sporting co-op, and quite frankly, they've gone way beyond their mountain climbing roots, sitting around a table doing group purchases. But ASCII hasn't. ASCII is essentially a community co-op, and what they're saying is that we're better together. So if you join ASCII, I think it's $100 a month or $1,200 a year. Don't quote me on that, but it's an annual fee that you are going to more than make up your annual fee by group purchases. And something that they're known for is professional liability insurance. That, Kevin, if I told you, hey, if you want to join my little co-op, it's $100 a month. But what if I can prove to you I'm going to save you $500 a month by group purchases of products, services, and so on, and it meets your needs? You would say, yes, I will join your co-op. Mm-hmm. And it gets even better that, and I'll say it, but then I want to confirm it, but your membership historically includes a hotel night for the show. So the idea is, it's a 2-day show, and you come down to the show, and on day one, you have your learnings, and then you play poker until late into the night on the first night, go to your hotel room. You don't have to drive home, so shouldn't be a problem.
Sounds great. Let's talk about Ingram Cloud X Summit. This one kicks off in San Diego.
Yeah, so Ingram is a well-known name in many walks of life, right? I'm sure you've heard of Ingram. They're a publisher. They're a distributor. They're a $40 billion company. You're going to bump into Ingram at some point someday if you're a tech exec or professional. And so this is, again, a big boy show. And what they're saying, and it's actually quite good because, Kevin, historically, distributors were known as pick and pack, right? Red brick warehouses, maybe in Pennsylvania where, the order comes in for 3 of these, 5 of those, and they box them up and ship them. And distributors still have a pick and pack role, but where distributors are really trying to expand is cloud services so they aren't cut out, right? Because, there's these shadow channels and all that. People like to say, well, why do I need a distributor? And so what Ingram has done is invested in this conference. They've invested in their business model to stay relevant as a middleman in a cloud world, if that makes sense. So if you're a cloud services provider, someday, some way, you're going to have to work with Ingram. They just have a huge line card. And B, knowledge is power, right? How do distributors survive and make it in a cloud world where, quite frankly, you can go to Amazon and often get the laptop or something for the same darn price.
Exactly. Well, these are, for the benefit of our viewers, these are all shows that Harry will be in attendance at, so we'll get some live boots on the ground feedback on these shows as they come up. And then, of course, if you have an opportunity to go visit the show yourself anywhere in our viewing audience, we'll make sure you look up Harry Brelsford when you're there because, hey, he's the tech conference geek. Gets all around. So you have a busy schedule ahead of you travel-wise, and in fact, you're relaxing in Seattle this morning, but you're hopping a plane to the Bay Area tonight, are you not?
Yeah, I am. I'm going down to meet with a new client in the virus protection area, and dirty little secret is, the flight. Happy to share, but the flights between SeaTac Airport and San Jose, these things on Alaska and Canadian Airlines, and some days they're $79 each way, and that's cheap money, right? Yep. I'm gonna go down and meet with the client for 2 hours tomorrow and get our annual plan across the finish line. And Kevin, maybe I'm old school. Kids today, they probably would consummate such a transaction with a text. I'm happy to get on the plane and go down and, typically get away from Seattle's drippy, gray, rainy weather for a couple of days.
All right. Well,
So,
Harry, thanks for taking time out of your busy day today to join us here on Tech Tuesday. Enjoy all these conferences that you're going to, and we'll look forward to connecting with you at these various events. Special thanks to everybody who joined us here on the broadcast. I'm Kevin Hunter with Kyle Torgerson. You've been listening to Harry Brelsford via phone here today on the broadcast. That's going to be a wrap here on the show. Kyle, take it away.
This concludes today's live programming on Northwest Digital News. Thanks for joining us for this special broadcast. Heard around the world in more than 70 countries on YouTube, Instagram, Patreon, Facebook, and Twitch TV. If you enjoyed a story or guest we had here on Northwest Digital News and would like to strut your stuff on the broadcast, email us today at wainfo2017@gmail.com or call or text 360-545-3501. We're always interested in unique stories, topics, and guests to share with our worldwide audience. Before you go, don't forget to give us a big thumbs up and comment on the live stream. And for those of you who'd like to financially support the broadcast, you can do so at patreon.com/Northwest Digital News. We thank you for your patronage. On behalf of Chris Bornstead, Kyle Torgerson, Stephanie Hunter, and all the people that made this broadcast possible, I'm Kevin Hunter. Till next time, take care.